folks, welcome back to the channel. As promised, I'm going to do a evaluation on the CT125 at 250 kilometers on the odometer. This is after I've done some extensive road riding with it. I've done some very hard trail riding with this bike, and I've got some good points and some bad points on the bike. So we're gonna get right to the bad points to begin with. Originally, I thought the tires were great because, you know, I'd ridden it on road and a little bit of dirt road, and they worked out really good. Now, this was great until I got to some really gnarly single track trails and got into some wet stuff and some loose stuff, and I just literally had no traction with the back tire. So if you want to do that kind of riding, I would strongly suggest, at least if nothing else, going with a different rear tire on this. But it wasn't really bad. You know, I could maneuver in there. I just had to pull the bike out of some holes that it dug itself into. Another thing that's bad about this bike, and this one concerned me when I was out on the trails, was the center stand is the lowest part of the bike past the engine towards the back, and it's down below the swing arm by, as you can see, that much. That's a lot, guys. And I kept hitting rocks and hanging up. I went off a little bitty 2.5 foot ledge to get down into the creek bottom, and it's not something I haven't done before. It's not a hard obstacle to do, and I started to go over it, and my center stand hung up, and when it hung up, it had me teetering on the lip of that, and I'm 2.5 feet above the creek bottom. Well, the bad thing was my right foot was dangling out in the air. At least my left foot, I was able to get it on some ground and get myself off the bike to where I could walk it down over the edge. But I really believe if you're not going to be doing trail riding and stuff like that, the center stand can stay where it's at. It's not going to give you any hassles, but I'm taking mine off just simply because I need that much more ground clearance on the back of the bike, and that's a lot of ground clearance that you're losing, and it hangs up bad when it hangs up. So with the tires, the center stand, and now this is a problem that I have not had this problem. I've got 250 kilometers on the bike, and I've yet to have to adjust the chain to tighten it. But there have been riders that have complained about excessive wear and tear on their chain. They've had to tighten it several times in low mileage. So I'm talking less than 500 kilometers. They're having to adjust their chain and adjust their chain. And there's things that could cause that. One of them is Honda could have gotten a bad batch of chains from a supplier. But I would think with the complaints that have come out about it, they would have done some checking on the serial numbers and found out whether or not these all came from the same batch. And if they did, have a recall on it. But I haven't heard anything about that. Now, guys, get a hold of your dealer. That's all I can say is get a hold of your dealer, tell them the problem you've had with it, and tell them you want to know if they got a bad batch of chains. And if they did, you know, tell them, say, hey, I've done it this way to tighten my chain, okay? And this is the correct way to do it. If you're doing all of that and it's still stretching, then Honda's got a problem with the chain, and they need to be aware of it. And the only way they're going to be aware of it is the customers complaining to the dealers, and the dealers passing that on to Honda. And hopefully they'll sit back and have a recall on at least the batches that are having problems with, pull all those chains out and all those sprockets off there, send out new stuff, and the problem will be solved. So that's it, folks. The final thoughts on this bike is, my God, if you're thinking about getting one, get one, okay? They're a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun. I've had nothing but a blast with this machine. And we're going on another adventure ride on Saturday. This is Thursday. Tomorrow I'll be prepping my bike to get it ready for it. I'm not going to make a video part on that, but I will be doing a video on the adventure ride. It's all going to be pavement. It's 180 kilometers long, but should get into some really nice country, and it's going to be up in the mountains. There's going to be 6 or 7 of us that go on this trip, and this is going to be the smallest machine by far. The next closest is going to be a 250cc. So we'll see how this compares to the bigger machines, and hopefully I can stay right there with those guys. So folks, hope you enjoyed this video. And by all means, if you've got problems with your chains, talk to your dealer and tell them what the problem is, and see if there's anything that Honda can do about it, okay? So until we get that back from that next adventure ride, guys, we'll talk to y'all later, okay?